is to have the right mindset. You can't go into a new business without having the right mindset. And the first individual I have the honor to bring up you can tell that he has literally mastered this. I have a great amount of respect for him and just such impressive reputation that he's built and gained in this industry. He's built a $250 million business, and he's now one of the founding members here in GPS. So let me please welcome to the call, Mr. David Nieves. Thank you for being here, sir.
Ms. Miranda, thank you very much for that incredible presentation and explanation. You truly have an art of simplifying things and communicating it in a way that people can understand it. Communication comes in two ways: what we say and then what people perceive it. And you truly have a gift of communicating things the way that people can perceive it. And so in a way that is it's very simple, yet applicable. So thank you very much for that incredible presentation, for your time that you spent with us. Hello, everybody. Excited to be here with every single one of you. I am, my name is David Nieves. I'm going to go in this information now on how we can master our mindset in building a business. And I think a lot of times, this is probably one of the most overlooked topics in building a business, and understanding that really success is just a state of mindset. And many times I hear people say, "Oh, David, skip this part. Oh, David, I'm bored. Oh. You got that attitude." And if you have an attitude that mindset doesn't matter, and let me tell you, man, you're in the wrong path. And you probably should not put yourself in a place where you're going to be you're going to be stretched, because everything, and I mean it, that everything requires the proper mindset. It is not the movement of time that determines where you end up in life, but it's the movement in your mind that determines where you end up in life. I myself have the experience of falling, and just 7 years ago, I was literally owning 3 gyms. Things were going the way I wanted to go, but how many of you guys can agree with me that when life hits you, it hits you hard? And life hit me. I got into an incident where I broke both my legs, ended up in a wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair for 5 months, and that was an experience. I fell 5 months behind on my income, 5 months behind on my rent. My car was in repo status. They put a quitter claim to my door, said, "Remove your stuff, or the sheriff will do it for you." I was in that place where I got hit. But here's what I realized. I realized that it was the mindset that was going to determine how I bounced back from that situation. And during that time, I read over 100 different books in personal development, business, philosophy, and achievement. I started really, and my body was broken, but I knew my mind was still working, and I could train my mind where I was at. And I want to give you, just, if you allow me some time for the next 20 minutes, to share with you some thoughts and ideas that I believe that could truly change you. And if you apply these thoughts and ideas, you can turn whatever situation in your life, and you can be an alchemist. You can be that person that can take, if life gives you lemons, guess what? You can turn into lemonade. It doesn't matter what life gives you. And understand that, I want you guys to all to understand that every breakthrough in life was first preceded by a breakdown. And the breakthrough in life that was preceded by a breakdown, if you think about it, it's because that moment of pain, that moment of hurt, that moment, it gave you a lesson. It gave you a lesson that you were able to apply and then sow in the future, sow in that fertile ground, because, pain humbles you, doesn't it? And you were able to do that. And from there, something great came to your life. A breakthrough came into your life. And this is what mindset can do for every single one when you have the proper mindset. And make no mistake that you require the right type of mindset for you to be successful in any business, especially in capitalizing in this opportunity right here. Many people come into a business like this, and they come in with their welfare mentality. They come in with a lottery ticket mentality. If that's you, man, let me tell you, you're gonna wake up to a rude awakening. In fact, if you already have that mindset your entire life, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your life won't be changed with that type of mindset. It'll be changed by understanding the simple principles and applying these principles that I'm about to share with you at this very moment. So let's go ahead and go into the principles. Here's the first thing I want you to understand. Mindset determines purpose, determines why you're doing something. And to me, it requires a vision. And I'm going to give you why it requires a vision. It requires a vision because if you're not inspired by a vision of the future, here's what's going to happen. You're going to be dragged down by memories of the past. Can we agree that many times in life all we do is start thinking about the past, start thinking about things that have happened to us, and we start focusing on the past, and you wonder why the past keeps repeating itself over and over, because wherever focus goes, energy flows. So what you have to do is focus on a vision of the future. And I want to tell you that there's a great Bible verse that says, without vision, the people perish. You know, they say, the original Hebrew text says, without a vision, they cast off restraints. Meaning, without vision, there's no commitment. There's nothing there that grounds you with a purpose for you to move forward and pass those obstacles. And so I want to give you a formula for a vision. If you're taking notes, and I hope you are, if you're taking notes, take this. Here's what a vision comes from. Number one, you got to have a specific outcome. That's number one. What's your outcome? Very simple. Let's say you want to be an outcomes influencer 200K. I want to be an influencer 200K by December 2021. Specific outcome is required for your vision to take birth. Okay, that's number one. Number two, now you have to fuel it with a compelling why. What's the why? Well, time with family. Maybe you want to be debt-free. Maybe you want a college education, retired parents, a new home, travel. You want things like boats and cars, and you want to be able to give to your brother's ministry. You want to do something great that you want to be able, that's a why. You got to have a compelling why. So a specific outcome, number one, a compelling why, number two, but then you have to go a step further. And that step further is you got to have an inspiring identity, because people, get this, we all consistently behave in the manner of how we believe and who we believe we are. We all consistently behave in that manner. And look, get this. So what type of person do you have to become? That's the question. That's the question. The number one question is like Jim Rohn, our mentor, says, set a goal to become a millionaire, not for the money, but for the person that you have to become to achieve it. So now here's the person. And let me give you the person you have to become. Number one, you got to have desire. You got to be a person of desire. You got to be a person of obsession. Obsession is required to achieve anything great in life. You got to be obsessed. Like literally, it has to wake you up in the morning. Napoleon Hill, in the book Think and Grow Rich, he says, the starting point of all achievement is a white-hot burning desire. You got to want this. You got to be obsessed about it. In life, you know, some people say, well, David, what about balance? You know, life is about taking things to an extremes and different balances. I remember when I was just starting my fitness career, I mean, I went bananas. People were telling me, hey, David, you're crazy, man. What you're carrying your food with you? I started a business, built it to $250 million in revenue in 4.5 years. I remember my friends were telling me, David, you're possessed. They call me possessed because I was obsessed. So here's what I'm going to suggest to you. I'm going to suggest to you that for the next 90 days, you completely focus. Next 90 days, starting June 1st, completely focus. 90 days of obsession. 90 days to focus on performing at your best. Have you ever done that? Let me ask you, have you ever gone all out? What does all out you look like? That's what I want to know. I'm curious, what does all out David look like? What does all out you look like? In the next 90 days, go ahead and picture that and get obsessed. Obsessed about your why, about your dreams, about your goals. Don't let distractions creep in, because the truth is that when you start obsessing about something, the universe likes to test your commitment. See, you got to have a work ethic, but you got to have commitment. And the moment, isn't it interesting? Have you noticed that the moment you commit to something, things start popping up, distractions start popping up, problems start popping up. Like, have you guys ever noticed that, how that happens? Kind of crazy, isn't it? But it happens. And here's the truth. When you make a decision and you make a commitment to something, the universe likes to test your commitment, because new levels bring new devils. New levels in your life is going to bring new devils in your life, and you got to have that attitude, a positive mental attitude. If you want to make $1 million in network marketing, here's how you do it. Everything that happens, no matter whether it's bad or good, is good. No matter what happens. You got to have a positive mental attitude, because every adversity, every heartache brings a seed of a greater benefit. So enthusiasm is the key for you're enthusiastic about obstacles. You're enthusiastic about anything that comes. I have challenges all throughout my life, man. You should, man, if I give you the list of obstacles that I have right now in front of me, the things that are happening in my life, and you can do the same thing, and we can look at it. But here's the difference that my mindset is: I'm excited about my obstacles. I'm enthusiastic. I'm so excited about the things that are happening in my life. Become enthusiastic about your obstacles. That's a different way of looking at it. You got to have urgency. Urgency. I mean, Napoleon Hill says, without urgency, desire loses its value. Without urgency, desire loses its value. There's no value in the desire that you have. If you're not urgent, if you're not obsessed with what it is that you want in your life, which requires then being coachable, and coachable is key for you to say, empty your cup. Come in here with a coachable mindset. I love what Paul St. Pilser says. He says, spare me your brilliance for 90 days and let me show you how to do business. Some of you are professionals. Some of you are great at what you do. Some of you are doctors, lawyers, engineers, online marketers. You're amazing at what you do. But you're in this business. Let us show you. Let Michael On show you. Let Mr. Danny Bay show you. Let Mr. Marc Isaac show you. Let the leader, Mr. Robert Griffin show you. Let the leaders and many other leaders show you exactly how to do this business. Come in here with an empty cup. Even myself, after 14 years of experience, the first thing I told Mr. Michael On, said, sir, my cup is empty. I'm ready to learn. Because if you have a full cup, guess what? There's no space for you to learn anymore. Did you really stop growing? Is it over for you? What? You really just stop growing all of a sudden? No. Every single one of us has to get to that point that we choose and make a decision that we're never going to stop growing. You see, the decision, it's the person, that's the decision. You're going to make a decision that this is the person that I'm going to become. This is the person, I'm going to become a person of desire, commitment, coachability, or I'm going to have enthusiasm and urgency. I'm going to be that person. And there's a saying that says, fake it till you make it. No. Don't fake it till you make it. Here's what I say, be it till you make it. Be it. Be that person till you make it. If in the past you have not been that person, it's okay. Guess what? It's a decision. You choose to be that person. You can choose. You know what's beautiful about human beings? That we can reinvent ourselves. Completely reinvent myself. I have reinvented myself multiple times during my life. You probably have too, or maybe not. But here's what I tell you. You can do it. You can reinvent yourself. It's a decision to say, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. And from now on, no more am I going to settle for mediocrity. From now on, this is what I stand for. And understand that in this process, there's going to be a learning curve. It's okay. It's okay to have a learning curve. You know why it's okay to have a learning curve? Because a learning curve humbles you. And you got to be humble to go through a learning curve. Because if not, you start thinking, you fall into this mindset. You think, oh, this is supposed to be easy. It's not easy. Oh, it's not for me if it's not easy. No. Everything in life goes through a learning curve. And you got to humble. And if you ain't humble, guess what? You're on your way to being humble anyways. So you got to humble yourself and be okay with the learning curve and enjoy the emotional roller coaster. The emotional roller coaster is the process. That's what it is. It's just the process. Trust the process. My mentor told me. He said, David, trust the process. The process is its own reward. You see, I like the Bible because it has great stories. You guys know the story of Joseph? You know, the Joseph story, you know, he became second in command in Egypt. You know the process that he had to go through? Let's go over this really quick. Okay, check this out. He first was thrown down a well, beat up by his brothers, his own family, thrown down the well, left for dead. Then his brothers felt bad, and, you know, said, we shouldn't have done that to our brother. Let's save him. And they took him from the well. Joseph probably thought, finally, they came for me. They were back to their senses. But no, what the brothers did is they sold him to slavery. Okay, that must have been quite a process. Then after he went through months and months, who knows how much time, but then he was sold to a master. Process, adaptation in that process. He became number one in the household, only to be tricked and to be falsely accused as trying to seduce the mistress. Got thrown into jail. Process. Again, now he's in jail for many, many years. Someone told him, hey, I'm going to talk to Pharaoh for you. Don't worry, I'll hook you up. Didn't happen. Many years passed by. Finally, after that, he became number one in the jail. And then he was, again, Pharaoh needed a dream translated. That guy remembered, brought in Joseph. Joseph then became second in command in Egypt. Process. All that process happened for destiny. Let me tell you something. The moment you avoid your process, you avoid your destiny. So don't, emotional roller coaster, bring it. It's just process. That's the right mental attitude you got to have. The right mental attitude is complete faith. You know what the evidence of faith is? The evidence of faith is persistence. That's the evidence of faith. The moment you stop persisting on something, it's because you lost faith. So keep that persistent mindset. And that's the right attitude you have to have. That's what you manage your, it starts in the process of you managing your expectations. Managing your expectations is key. Many of us have the mindset that we should rise to the level of our expectations. This is my expectation, I should rise to that. No. You don't rise to the level of your expectations. You fall to the level of your preparation, my man. So you fall to the level of your preparation. So the expectations you need to have is, I'm going to grow here. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to have long-term thinking. There's a great book out there called Mindset by Carol Dweck. I love that book, one of my all-time favorite top 5 books. She did a study there, and she studied 150 students that were entering a music program. And that music program, 150 students started, and they asked them the question, in the 4-year program, they asked the question, okay, how long do you plan on playing this instrument? And what they said, one person, there was 3 different answers. One answer was, I don't know, maybe for a little time. The other answer was, I think I'm going to do it for a while. And the third answer was, man, I will never stop this. This is incredible. I will always do this. They followed the same 150 students 4 years later. They divided the answers in 3 sections: short-term commitment, medium-term commitment, and long-term thinking commitment. 4 years later, they measured the progress of those 150 students. Here's what they found. They found that people that said they had the long-term commitment thinking outproduce, in a short-term burst, outproduce the other 2 groups combined by 400%. This is a real study. This is science. I'm telling you, this is numbers. I love numbers because numbers don't lie. But 400%, what does that tell you? This study reveals that long-term thinking produces short-term results. Short-term, massive 400% results. So you got to have that never quit attitude. Never quit attitude. And that's normal, because you're gonna, when anybody that achieved anything great in their lives had a no quit attitude, and they came across toxic dream stealers. You're gonna come across toxic dream stealers. It's just gonna happen. You can, it's okay. It's quite okay, actually. I love a quote this by what's his name? Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt said, "Never throughout life has a man that lived a life to ease left a name worth remembering. Never throughout history has a man that lived a life to the ease left a name worth remembering." What does that mean? You know, that's incredible. You know how you get your face in the side of a mountain? That's how you do it. thinking about that. They never throughout history has a man that lived a life to east, left the name worth remembering. You got to be okay with naysayers. You got to be okay with people coming at you. Napoleon Hill even wrote in his book, Think and Grow Rich, saying that one of the 13 principles says, hey, the number one enemy of these 500 most successful people in the world was their friends, family, and neighbors. The people that loved them, they say, you know what? That's not probably that. That's not you. We know your past. We know who you were back then. And now you're saying you're going to be this person. Now you're saying you're acting like a different person. Your history tells us differently. And that's what they do. It's okay. Here's what you have to do. You got to reframe that. You got to decide what you're going to be looking like. You see, you got to me, my dreams are my priority. What about you? Are other people's opinion your priority? Or are your dreams and your goals your priority? When you have your dreams a priority, you're untouchable. There's nobody can touch you. When your dreams are a priority, make your dreams a priority. Make your dreams this huge vision in front of you. Then nothing. My mentor, Danny Bay, says bulletproof mindset, where no one can touch you, where you're untouchable. When you have that bulletproof mindset. I remember listening to Mr. Danny Bay's video on YouTube, I don't know, maybe 100 times. Bulletproof mindset. You're bulletproof. Nothing can touch you because your vision is in front of you. Our possibilities, get this, our possibilities in our universe expand to the degree that we can absorb and reframe pain. Many times we're trying to avoid pain. We're trying to avoid disappointment. We're trying to avoid how to feel embarrassed. We're trying to avoid what other people's opinion might be of us. We're trying to avoid this pain, and your universe either expand or contracts. And your ability to reframe and really swallow pain, redigest it, and come out stronger at the very end. That's the difference. Don't try to avoid pain. That's a quote that I love that says, I will live my life constantly moving away from the path of least resistance if I am to achieve greatness in the things that I do. I will live my life constantly moving away from the path of least resistance if I am to achieve greatness in the things that I do. Because here's what's going to happen. When you go out there and reach out to people, some people are going to get it. Some people are going to get it right away. We call them red apple. This is the yeses. Some people are going to have questions. Some people are going to say, you know what? I don't know. They're going to be, why? Because their thinking is like, okay, my pain from the past is holding me down and I cannot, and the possibilities of my future has shrunken down. Those are the maybes. Those are the green apples. This is okay. We got to have compassion for those people. Now, some people are just so hurt that, they're just a straight up, no, we call them rotten apples. We're not calling you a rotten apple. No, we're not saying people are rotten. Well, some people are. But not everybody. What is it? Jim Rohn says, there's only about 5 or 6 nasty people in the world. They move around a lot, but but you get it. Some people are gonna be, and we're sorting for leaders. We're looking for the lookers. We're looking for people that are looking for us, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna spend 80% of our time looking for the right people. Then we're gonna spend, after that, 20% of our time dealing with the maybes. 80% of the people, 80% of your time. Now, I've seen leaders do the opposite. They forget about the 80% yes, and they focus on, they cannot take a no. They just can't say, oh my God, I cannot believe anybody's, I gotta convince people. No. If you convince people to work this business, you gotta convince them to work the business. Does that make sense? If you convince them to join the business, you got to convince them to work the business. And convincing people wears me out. I'd rather run with 1 than drag 100. Can I get an amen for that? So, and then people that are just next. I remember, I have my team, and I have my team with me and this personal friends that I'm mentoring right now. And they tell me, hey, David, what would I do if someone tells me that? And they send me a thing and it's clearly, it's not for me. So I'm like, my first response just, next. And they start laughing. I say, okay, I get it. I get the attitude. The attitude is there's one being born every minute. And every day people are turning 18. every single day people are turning 18, and that's not gonna stop. So some will, some way, some won't. So what? Next, 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 next. Oh, I found a leader. Next, 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 next. Oh, I found a leader. Next, 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 next. Oh, I found a leader. It's a music. Sometimes it's gonna be like that. Next, next, next. I found a leader. That's how it works. Okay? So go out there and have that mindset that I'm talking about right here. It makes all the difference, ladies and gentlemen. You can do this. This is for you. You can do this. This is for you. But it's all about the mindset that you bring in. And it's all about how you reframe the pain. Stop avoiding the pain. Go out there and fail. If you fail greatly at it. Because when you swing the pendulum to the other side of failure, guess what? The pendulum is going to go ahead and swing equally to the side of success. And I cannot be more excited to introduce the next gentleman who I have grown to love and admire. This gentleman, I believe it's Mr. Marc is coming up next with a compensation plan. So I'm excited to have you talk to him and for him to explain to you our compensation plan. A compensation plan is very unique, but this gentleman is no stranger to success. In fact, he's a winner, and winners beget winning. This gentleman, I mean, it's just an honor to be in his team. It's an honor to call him a friend, a mentor, someone I look up to. And if for those of you that are just seeing this or are brand new, man, you're going to get to hear about this gentleman more and more, because he's just a leader's leader, a friend, and someone just cares for people. But more importantly, he cares for other people's success. And you guys will get to know. I can't wait for you to shake his hand and to take pictures with him when you see him in person. So without any further ado, Mr. Marc Isaac, thank you very much for your leadership and for everything you do for this organization.
Mr. David, first of all, thank you very much for everything that you've done and an amazing mindset training. And I can't wait to lock arms with you and everybody that's on this call to help GPS become a billion-dollar company and beyond. So again, thank you very much for everything that you do, sir. And so I'm really pumped up and excited because I get to talk about the money. I get to talk about my favorite part, which is the compensation plan. And, you know, for those who don't know me, my name is Marc Isaac, and I'm calling out in the Houston, Texas market. And, you know, I've been in the industry for now over 10 years, and it blows my mind to see that if you have dreams and goals, and when you have the right support team with the right company, your life can completely change. And you know what's amazing is that my background is nothing too crazy and special because I was just a college student. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. And just like a lot of people on this call, I wanted to help people, but I just didn't know how to do it. And, you know, when I had a chance to see the industry and let alone see this company that was founded by my very first one of my very first millionaire mentors, and to see that I got to work with amazing leaders like the individuals you're going to hear from today, it just made so much sense that we could be part of a huge technology shift and be in the middle of all of the action that's going on. And so what I'm excited about is to talk about the compensation plan. And so what I'm going to have a chance to do, okay, if Mr. David or Mr. Michael could actually help me with being able to share the screen so I could go ahead and start the PowerPoint, that would be awesome. But okay, perfect, there we go. And so what I want to have a chance to do is share with you the compensation plan. And this is one thing that I do want to start off the compensation plan with, is that, you know, don't be so hard on yourself if everything that we talk about doesn't make sense right away. The goal is to learn more than you did the week prior. You know, when you set the foundation and you learn something today, great. Plug into the next training so you can learn more. And it's going to be one brick after another. Next thing you know, you have an empire. And so I encourage you to really just take as much notes and to pay attention to this information. So if you're doing anything right now, to take a minute to stop and pay attention for just the next few minutes. So this could really sink in. So you'll know why to go out there and get customers and why we build teams here with GPS. And so just like Miranda talked about earlier, we have 9 benefits with our company. And we're going to break each of this down. But the first few things that I do want to talk about and mention are just few key notes to understand. So understand that every influencer that gets involved can have 2 teams, a team on the left and a team on the right. And based on the volume, each team will be considered either as a power leg or a working leg. And all that means is that a power leg is the leg that has more volume or more customers, and the working leg has less volume or less customers. And there's two different types of volume that we're going to talk about. There's something called business volume, also known as BV, and influencer volume, also known as IV. And this is the difference. Business volume does not change. It's set for each product that we have. Currently, we have two products, which right here, you could see Pico G2, which is 400 BV, and VRLU, which is 100 BV. That does not change. But influencer volume is subject to change. Right now, it's the same with Pico being 400 IV and VRLU being 100 IV. And why this is subject to change is because later on, when we have more products and more services that we roll out here with GPS, we'll be able to do different promotions throughout the years. And maybe during a special months where we're able to do 500 IV for a Pico or 200 VR for the VRLU. So just to give you an idea, for later on, we're gonna have some enhanced products and services in our compensation plan. It will all be affected in a good, positive way. But what's important to really keep in mind is the last bullet right here that says influencers must be an active influencer to receive any commissions with GPS. So you won't make a dime unless you're an active influencer, and what you need is 100 personal BV, or in this case, a VRLU subscription. Keeping that subscription will maintain your qualification to earn compensation with GPS. And so let's break down the 9 different ways you can earn money. So the first way is called influencer marketing commission. So these are bonuses that are paid weekly for every time someone uses your influencer ID to order a Pico device or VRLU subscription, or more services come. So imagine getting anywhere from 1 up to 10% based on the product types that we have. So the idea is you get the products, boom, you could sell it yourself, or you can have individuals go to your store, use your influencer ID, and you can get a percentage every time a product is being sold. So that's the first way. The second way is very, very powerful. And I'm gonna keep this very simple, and it's called Group Influencer Marketing Commission, also known as GIM. These are weekly paychecks that are gonna be distributed to the influencers, but few things to keep in mind. Pico right now, like I mentioned earlier, is 400 BV. VRLU is 100 BV. And every time an influencer has 100 BV on the left, 100 BV on the right, and it's equivalent, that's 1 GIM cycle, okay? So again, I'll give you another example. If there's 200 BV on the left, 200 BV on the right, that's 2 GIM cycles. You got it? So I'll give you an example. So let's just say, again, every influencer can build 2 teams, a team on the left and a team on the right. So let's use this as an example. Let's just say on your left team, you recruited 3 people that each got a Pico device and a VRLU. So let's just say Danny, Michael, and Katie all each got 500 BV. That's a total of 1,500 BV between the team, okay? On the right team, let's just say you have David and Tommy that also got involved with GPS. They got a Pico and a VRLU subscription. That's 500 BV each. So just in that team alone, 1,000 BV was acquired, okay? So the question is, how many BV is equivalent on each side? 1,000. 1,000 on the left and 1,000 on the right is what's equivalent on both sides. So 1,000 BV is equal to 10 GIM cycles. So this is how you calculate your GIM commissions. And you multiply that by the company's BV value for the week. This number can be anywhere from $2 to $4 or even more, but it's based on the company's revenue. So obviously, we're still at our pre-launch and we're launching GPS in the United States in the next 2 days. So we don't have a value yet. So as an example, let's just say $3. Your GIM commissions for the week will be $30 just in this example alone. That's how you calculate the GIM commission that you will be able to acquire. But our back office that we're going to have is going to make it more simple. I just want to break down the math so you can see how this all breaks down. So the question is, what happens to the 500 BV on the left team that had no equivalent on the other side? Guess what? That carries over for the following week, and you start with 500 BV on your left team, okay? So again, this is as simple as I can make it. There's gonna be a back office that's gonna help you calculate this so you don't have to know all the technical sides, but at least you have the idea of how this works. So the third way we can get paid is through leadership matching bonus, okay? And these are bonuses that are paid out monthly, and it's gonna be based on the GIM commission, with what we talked about earlier. So every influencer will have an opportunity to get paid up to 4 generations of leadership matching bonuses. So what's a generation? If an influencer brings someone into the business and they sponsor them, that's their first generation. If that influencer brings someone else into the business, that's your second generation, and we can get compensated up to 4 generations. What's exciting is that when you're an influencer 100, you could receive 40% on your first generation's GIM commission. If you're an influencer 250, you could receive an additional 30% on the second generation's GIM commission, the one that we talked about earlier. And when you're an influencer 500 and above, you can get an additional 20% on your third generation and 10% on your fourth generation's GIM commission. So what's exciting is that this compensation is rewarding those individuals that are actively going out there and sponsoring new influencers into GPS. And when you get access to your back office, and we're gonna have full access on June 1st in a couple days, which I'm excited about, everyone's gonna have an opportunity to have a binary tree that they could see as a graphical, as a view for their organization. So every influencer, keep in mind, could only sponsor directly 2 frontline influencers. If they have another recruit that they're gonna sponsor, they have to put that in their downline underneath one of the 2 that first got involved in the business. So what I love about it is that whoever you sponsor into the business, it doesn't matter what level they're in. When you see the graphical tree view, which is another tab on your back office, you'll get to see who you sponsor directly in the business, no matter what level they are on the binary tree. Whoever they bring in, that's your second generation, and it doesn't matter what level they're on in the binary tree, you'll have a chance to see it as your second level on your graphical tree. So again, there's gonna be a graphical tree and a binary tree you'll have access to once our back office is live on June 1st on Monday. But what I get excited about is one of the most powerful parts of our compensation plan called Monthly Influencer Level Bonus, also known as MIL. And these bonuses are ridiculous. You can start at Influencer 500, and once you're an Influencer 500, you could earn a $500 MIL bonus as long as you maintain Influencer 500. And in the middle column, these are the qualifications that you need in order to achieve the different positions here with GPS. So these qualification is based on an individual's working leg. So as you can see, an Influencer 500 needs 5,000 influencer volume on their working leg, meaning they have more than 5,000 on their power leg. And it goes all the way up to Influencer 200K. As an Influencer 200K, you heard it before, you can earn $200,000 in MIL bonus as long as you maintain Influencer 200K. So I'm telling you, this gets so exciting that you could go out there and sky's the limits with the income that you can make here with GPS. But it doesn't stop there. What I get excited about too is the level advanced bonus that we provide here with GPS. These are one-time bonuses that GPS will pay out for hitting the different positions. And so when you become an Influencer 100, you'll receive a one-time $100 LA bonus. If you become an Influencer 250, you can earn a $250 LA bonus. Influencer 1000, you'll earn a $1,000 LA bonus. So again, these bonuses will be paid out the following month. But when you hit the positions of influencer 5,000 all the way up to influencer 75K, you could see that the bonuses dramatically increase. You can get a one-time $10,000 LA bonus, $50,000 LA bonus, and $150,000 one-time LA bonus here with GPS. As long as you hit these positions 3 times, you'll be able to achieve these bonuses. Not 3 consecutive months. It doesn't have to be at a certain time frame. As long as you hit it 3 times in your career, the bonuses will be triggered out, which is beautiful, okay? But it doesn't stop there. If you see right here, influencer 100K to influencer 200K, there's even more in bonuses. There's a $500,000 LA bonus. There's a $1.5 million LA bonus and a $3 million LA bonus that you could achieve for hitting the highest position with GPS. And you could see that it's going to be divided in portions, but as long as you hit this 5 times, again, not 5 consecutive months, there's no time frame, but if you hit these positions 5 times, guess what? You'll be able to trigger the bonus that's here for GPS that will provide the GPS bonus that they'll provide for you. So it's powerful, it's unbelievable, but it doesn't even stop there. This is what gets me excited, is the fact that as the company grows, so can your income. So number 6 benefit in GPS is called domestic leadership pool. This is going to be an annual bonus, a one-time bonus that's going to be paid out at the end of the year, where 1% of the domestic revenue, which here in the United States, 1% of the United States revenue at the end of the year will be split amongst these individuals that are influencer 10K up to 75K. And here in GPS, we go by a point system. So I'll give you an example. If you look at the bottom, anyone that becomes an influencer 25K that does it 5 months in the entire calendar year, guess what? That's 5 months times 2 points, which is what influencer 25K members acquire. That's a total of 10 points that they receive. If they become an influencer 50K 2 months of the year, that's 2 times 3 points, which is 6 points. And of course, that's a total of 16 points that influencer received for the calendar year. All this means is the more points you get, the more that you will make with GPS, which is very, very exciting because you can go out there and make as much as you want. And it doesn't even just stop here domestically. There's also an opportunity to get paid on the global revenue with number 7 benefit, global leadership pool bonus. And what's exciting is that just like the previous example, 1% of the global revenue will be split amongst those that are influencer 100K, 150K, and also 200K. And what's exciting is, like I mentioned, we go by a point system, and the more points, the more you can make. And as the company grows, so does your income, which is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. But understand that we're excited because we're still at our pre-launch. Our first day that will be active in the system will be on June 1st. So every single person that's watching this right now is seeing it before we officially launch and go all out to close out this year very, very strong. So number 8 benefit is called fast influencer promotion. And these are gonna be additional bonuses paid out to new people. So for any new influencers, a new influencer can earn an additional 30% on their GIM commission during their first 12 weeks of their start date. Again, everyone here that's on this call today, our day 1 for all of us, you and I, guess what, is going to be on June 1st. So in 2 days, when we go out there and go all out on June 1st to launch this company, it's gonna be a frenzy. So as an example, let's just say a new influencer made $10,000 within their first 12 weeks. Because they're new, they'll get an additional 30%, which is $3,000, and they'll make a total of $13,000 just because they're a new influencer within their first 12 weeks, and they'll be able to receive a $13,000 bonus because of this promotion right here. But for any upline influencers who directly sponsors a new influencer can earn also an additional 30% on the leadership matching during the new influencer's first 12 weeks. So I'll give you an example. Again, a new influencer that made $10,000 in GIM, whoever directly sponsored them in the business gets a leadership match. 40%. 40% of $10,000 is $4,000. Because they sponsored the new person and because the company wants the new people to have great support, guess what? They're also going to give the sponsor a 30% increase, which in this example is an additional $1,200, a total of $5,200 that the sponsor will make for helping a new individual. Isn't that amazing? You can make $5,200 for helping someone make $13,000. It's a beautiful compensation plan where it's a push and pull system. So last benefit that we have is called influencer leadership retreats. And these are going to be retreats that's going to be expense paid for anybody that qualifies for certain positions. We're going to have a domestic leadership conference for anyone that becomes an influencer 1K. So if you are right now brand new on this call, I would say run, sprint, go all out to influencer 1K and do whatever it takes and game plan and talk to your mentor so we could help every single person mastermind and rub shoulders with individuals in our company that are the top of the top, the cream of the crop, and the individuals that's going to help you go out there and instill with you mindsets and habits of you to go out there and build a successful business with GPS. We're also going to have a retreat in Singapore. We're going to have more retreats all around the world. So the beauty is this, is that we're going to have a chance to not just build a business together, but we'll all have a chance to build a future together as a GPS family. And so why I get so excited is because this. And to close this out is understand that for some of you, guess what? You're not going to know everything right away, because my mentor always told me that action is always more important than intention. You could learn the details, but what's going to make you money? What's going to trigger these checks is taking massive action. It's going out there and picking up the phones. It's not going out there and game planning all the time. When you game plan with your mentors and your uplines, guess what? Put it into action, make the calls, plug it into the Zoom, and we have less than 2 days, less than 48 hours for us to get as many people involved with our company as fast as possible so everyone can have a story to say, I was in it before we launched here in the United States. That story will make you a fortune. That story, when we become a multi-billion-dollar company, you're going to look back and say, I can't believe I was in there when our revenue was still at zero because we didn't even launch yet. And guess what? Now we're one of the fastest, biggest direct sales company in the entire world. That's here and that's right now. And so I'm excited for you to learn how to go out there and understand the product, understand the VR industry, and no better person to hear from an individual that has been in this space already for the last couple years before GPS was even created. You know, he's currently a vice president right now for a VR company. And what's amazing is that this individual knows the products, knows the services, and also knows our industry. So I'm excited for you to hear from an individual I truly respect, a great friend of mine, Mr. Robert Griffin. Thank you so much for jumping on the call today, sir.
Mr. Isaac, it's such an honor for me to be here, sir. You know, they say that you will become the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most. And my wife and I are honored to be able to hang around you, your amazing family, and the other leaders in GPS, because you truly do live it. You know, a lot of people, they talk a good game, but when it comes down to putting in the work, sir, you are 100% a legend, and we're just honored to be working with you. So thank you for that kind introduction. Thank you. Okay, folks, are you ready? I got some really cool things for you today. I'm excited beyond measure. I know many of you know my story already. Some of you maybe not. You're here for the first time. So if you met me, my goodness, 12 years ago, I had a beard about yay long. I was working with outlaw bikers and gang members, and I was an undercover police detective in a little town called Las Vegas, Nevada. And, you know, life dealt us a pretty tough thing, you know, which I find a very common theme, right? People get dealt a challenge and they rise up and grow above that. So I'm asking you, if you've been having a rough year, 2020, like my God, I think we can all say 2020 has been a unique year. This is your turn. This is your turn to rise out of the ashes. You know, so let that adversity be a manipulator for you, make it a catalyst for you to go take action, like Mr. Isaac just said. That's what it's all about, is taking action. So we took action, got involved in network marketing as a police detective and worked really hard. And with a few years of time, was able to go full-time, walk away from my police career. And I don't say that to impress you. I just say that, hey, man, if this guy can do it, like I see Mr. David Nieves, I see these amazing leaders, Mr. Isaac, Michael On, and all these guys, and they're like, gosh, they're so good. They put me here to give you hope. Because if I could do it, any of you can do it. So I'm going to get right into the information. We got some great new slides that I'm going to share with you guys today. Oh, hold on, guys. Can someone allow me to share my slides, please? Whoever's controlling the Zoom. There's that little click box you got to do down there. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Thank you very much. Okay, stand by just one. Uh-oh, technical difficulty. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I will be right with you. I apologize for the delay. Stand by just one. I'll be right there. Okay, I apologize for that, guys. There was a little bit of a glitch there, but we're good now. Okay. Promise you it'll be worth the wait. Okay. Okay, so first let's talk about technology, right? So we're here to learn about customer acquisition, but I think we can all agree the technology is evolving and evolving very quickly. Like, I'm old enough to remember what it was like without a cell phone, like back in the day when we all had pagers. And I know many of you here have no clue what I'm talking about. Some of you used to get a page and we have to go find a payphone. And then the advent of the cell phone, the smartphone, 4G hits, and now we're rolling into 5G. But I'm gonna tell you, the bigger picture here for us is what's happening in virtual reality. Let's just talk about the evolution of VR. VR started back in 1982. I'd be willing to bet that many of you on this call were not even born yet then. And Atari was the first one who launched it. I personally had an Atari, old enough to be back in those days. And then Sega launched the world's first, or at least in America that I'm aware of, VR headset in 1991. Isn't that crazy? And then comes the Cube Room. The Cube Room was a different animal. It was like these big projector-based things, and they would put you in this box, and where they would project images on there that made you feel like you were in a virtual environment, but it wasn't quite really VR, right? And then we'll fast forward to 2014, and Facebook acquires the company Oculus. They spent $2 billion. I know there's some haters out there lately. They've been talking about, hey, VR is going to fail. It's not going to do well. How many VR companies have gone out of business? Listen to me closely, folks. When you have a massive company like Facebook dropping billions of dollars into an industry, in my old detective days, I would call that a clue, okay? And then Google gets involved. They launch whatever was called the first cardboard VR, which is this cardboard thing that you can buy them at the dollar store now, by the way. And it's a little cardboard thing you put on your face. It literally would strap your cell phone right to your face. Listen to me closely. That is not virtual reality. That is you staring at a cell phone that is really close to your face. You have to have a special type of lens. You have to have special processors, refresh rates in order to pull off virtual reality. Like, I have a VR headset in my house right now that I spent thousands of dollars on, and it won't even do what the Pico G2 will do today. Now, you can see the rest of the evolution there. It's an exciting time. Now, let's talk about the big boys getting involved, right? You know, Facebook, I mentioned, bought Oculus. Apple just made a big acquisition. Google it, look it up. Apple just acquired a VR company. Now, if VR was problematic and not going places, don't you think they would probably not want to do that? So the short answer is we're certainly heading in the right direction. In fact, Apple's going to be releasing its first ever augmented reality headset this calendar year. I guarantee you they'll be selling like hotcakes come Christmas time. So super exciting time. Now, the industry, we've already covered some of this in the presentation, but isn't it nice to know that we're involved in an industry that is about to go 30x what it is today? That's what really gets me fired up, because very few times in life will you be presented with that type of opportunity, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, there's a lot of things going on out there in the world, so much uncertainty in the world today, and never before have we seen where a piece of modern day, everyday conversation has become the word virtual, because people are being forced to work from home and deal with this pandemic. So all these numbers that you see here on the screen, there are projections that all were happening before COVID-19, folks. So why do I tell you that? Is simply this. This is about to go way bigger than what this slide will illustrate. Trust me when I tell you, it's going to be a very exciting time. So let's talk about the uses for VR, because you know, some people go, well, I got my Pico, I got my VR Lou, but are there other things that I can do with my VR headset? And the short answer is, of course. I have some great insight for you here. Have you ever considered using VR for travel? I'm going to tell you, and if you have it, I'm telling you, you are in for one heck of a treat. Like just the other night, my wife and him there with our VR headset, and I started off in Plano, Texas. I jumped up into the atmosphere. I flew over to Tokyo and landed in downtown Tokyo, right at the bottom of Tokyo Tower. And if you've never experienced anything like that, here's a short video to give you an idea of what it's like when you do that. Okay, let's talk about the other uses of VR. So I just realized that I may have not included the sound in that video, so I apologize for that. I have another short video coming up, and I will make sure to include the audio for that one. But let's talk about the uses for VR and why I firmly believe that we are heading in the right direction. See, my company that I sell for now, we sell simulators to the government for police agencies. You know, like right now, the state of California has issued a $5 million RFP to purchase VR headsets for their police forces, right? The United States Air Force is currently gathering funds to do a $100 million purchase for, guess what? Virtual reality. The fire department is using it now for rescue training. NASA is using it to put astronauts in a simulated, space situation. I'm telling you that when I tell you that VR is moving in the right direction, I could not be more excited, because not only are the military and the government getting involved, but also our retailers like KFC, you know, that they train their employees to fry chicken using virtual reality and how to deal with customers using VR. Walmart does the exact same thing. You have like medical people that are learning how to do surgery on you and I. God forbid, I hope you never need a surgery, but they're using virtual reality. Why? Because the studies have shown scientifically, listen to me closely, that people will retain 40% more information by learning in a virtual reality environment than if they did watching it on a video, sitting in a classroom, or any other type of instruction, because of one word. It's called focus. When you focus, you can gather more information. That's what I love about this, and the fact that we have so many different uses for our headset that we're going to be getting in the mail very soon. Like, we're going to revolutionize the real estate world, folks. Like currently, most people, they go to Redfin, they go to realtor.com, they go to look for the house, they look at 2D images, or maybe they even have a 360 camera, but they're watching it on a 2D screen on your laptop or on your smartphone. You're not getting the full experience of VR. That's like kind of like trying to watch a 3D movie without 3D glasses. You're not going to have the same experience. So with virtual reality real estate, you can literally click a button and be standing in the living room. Click another button and now you're in the kitchen. You can look at the countertops. You can look down and make sure the appliances are the kind your wife wants. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to revolutionize VR and real estate with our referral partnership. I'll talk about automotive industry. You're going to be able to go shop for your dream car without ever leaving your house and experience it as if you were in the showroom. Those days are coming, and it's such an exciting time. But here's the bigger piece for me, folks, is how we're going to impact lives. Because what really fires me up, like the reason I became a police officer in the very beginning was I love helping people. And I love seeing the people who have been wronged and see that a sense of appreciation when they had someone, their stolen item returned to them. Can you imagine how we're going to be able to go touch those who were infirmed, those who are stuck in retirement homes, who can't see their family? This is going to be so awesome, because think about all those people who are too old now to travel, or maybe they're too sick or too weak to get out and go like you and I can. We're going to be able to take our VR headset to them, put it on their head and say, hey, grandma, grandpa, what is that one place on earth you've always wanted to go see? Can't we just whisk you away there right now? Like my mother is in that category. She can't travel like she used to. And she's always wanted to go see the pyramids in Egypt. Wouldn't it be nice to go there and say, hey, mom, check this out. And put that headset on her and then watch her light up. Like I would equate that to, you ever seen that video on Facebook or YouTube where they give people who are colorblind glasses where they can see in color for the very first time? Or maybe they give those little babies hearing aids, and for the first time, they can hear their mother's voice. And they start crying tears of joy. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to have testimonials in a few weeks of our friends, our family members crying tears of joy because we put a headset on someone who's in a wheelchair, and they can now go ride a mountain bike down a hill, or they can go get on a skateboard and go through a skate park like they used to, but they can't anymore. Or maybe you got people like my wife who's got, her mother lives in Tokyo, Japan, all the way on the other side of the planet. Through an app called VR Engage, which I'll show you here in a second, they're going to be able to sit in the exact same room, talk to one another as if they were right there together. She can bring in the grandkids, and my mother-in-law, who's technologically challenged, is going to be able to reunite that family and then watch those tears of joy come. I'm telling you, when we start making testimonial videos about this, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to be so cool. And the magic behind it all is the Pico G2, the most awesome headset out there for the money right now. And if you're excited about it, if you're not excited about it, then it tells me one thing. You simply just don't understand. The headset that I have in there, it costs $1,000. It costs $1,500 for the computer that runs it. And for a fraction of the price, I get a headset like the Pico G2 that is far superior than the one that I have in the other room. Why? Because technology has evolved, the prices are coming down, and you and I are in such a perfect place at a perfect time. And there are other uses for your Pico G2 as well. Like you can go get a Netflix subscription, Hulu subscriptions, and watch TV. Instead of watching it on your television, watch it on an IMAX theater strapped to your face. That's what's going to be really cool. Now, I have to unshare the slides here real quick and then reshare them because I'm going to include some audio for this next video. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure I get it right. I want you to be able to hear it. Stand by just one. Okay, got it. There, that's going to fix it. Okay. Okay. Now, if you ever haven't heard of this thing called VR Engage, Mr. Danny Bay was telling me about it, and it's unbelievable. This is another thing that you can use your Pico G2 for as well. Make sure you do a little research, but check out this video. It's going to show you ways that you and I are going to be able to build business and network in ways that you and I never ever thought of. So check this out, and I'll be right back.
We all experience the world in unique ways. Through our senses, we gather information and build cognitive process to understand concepts. This is how we learn. But what if we could push these boundaries past our physical world? What if you could communicate with anyone in the world, yet feel like you were in the same room? If you could meet and learn.
Why would you make me put it up the highest?
So you tell me when you're
From teammates globally, sharing media and ideas. Or jump into a simulated training.
But the real test is being able to do the right thing in a stressful situation.
To gain a deeper understanding of the task at hand.
and when they're squeezing the trigger to squeeze the bag.
You have ventilated the baby, and now it's time to reassess.
Please fasten your seatbelt, sir.
Creating real-world scenarios, improving employee knowledge and skills.
Exactly, planted another tree. And this time we put it up the top.
Imagine if quality education was accessible to all, regardless of geographical location.
Large hazard and increase the risk to these big cities.
What if no field trip is too far or impossible? A world of immersive experiences. Engage, communicate, teach, learn.
That gets me excited. And if you add into the event that we're going to be adding in, the world's first virtual reality, augmented reality, e-commerce platform, that's going to take everything that you see here with GPS and multiply it times 100x. So I'm super excited about the augmented reality. It's going to allow us to put watches on our wrist, hats on our head, suits on our body, and experience before we purchase. But let's talk about the best 1-2 punch in network marketing history. It is the combination of the Pico G2 and the VRLU virtual reality learning university that's going to really blow people's minds. Because if you're involved in network marketing, if you're one of those ones that's a leader and out there pushing the envelope and doing what it takes to win for your family, I guarantee you another thing that you do, you're digging into personal growth. And that's what the beauty of VRLU is all about. We have master classes in the US. You see a whole bank of them there, a whole bank of them in South Korea as well. So they can pour into you and you can learn skills and use this as a tremendous selling tool. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when you go to your friend and just ask them a very simple question? Have you ever considered making money and using virtual reality? Well, what do you mean, man? Let me show you something. And you put a headset on and you're just immersed into this educational platform. Like when I was at Mr. Danny Bay's house just a few months ago, he said, Rob, you like MMA, right? And I said, yes, I do. I'm a big fan of the UFC, sir. He gave me the headset. I put it on my face and I was literally standing in the octagon with a professional MMA trainer. And then my mind was blown. So I want to ask you to simply just realize what we're in front of, folks. We're in front of something so special. We have the biggest wow factor that network marketing has ever seen. We have the VR Loop subscription, the Pico G2 that's going to be able to go out and place the headset on people's faces and then video it and then just flood social media. When you have that elderly person who's crying tears of joy, or that family member, God forbid, if they're stuck in a wheelchair and they're not going, oh my gosh, oh, wow. We are going to have wow factor on steroids. And when you have wow factor in direct sales, network marketing, you have an amazing business. Mark my words, GPS will break records in the industry. We're going to break records in the US, we're going to break records internationally. And you, my friend, get to be here at the very, very beginning of it. I'm telling you, I'm fired up. I'm working from 8 to faint. In fact, my wife, God bless her, she gets up at 5 a.m. every day doing presentations in Tokyo, Japan, doing presentations in another country, because we understand timing. The timing is here, and it's time for all-out massive action. I get to bring on a leader's leader. I remember watching this gentleman get promoted, making all these amazing ranks and hitting the charts in network marketing. And I remember thinking, wow, man. And what really impressed me about him wasn't the fact of his success, because there's a lot of people who have success. You know what really impressed me about Mr. Michael On? Was the way he treated people. You know, they say very rarely will people remember your name or what maybe, you know, what you might have said to them. They'll always remember how you made them feel. You know, I remember meeting Mr. On, and he didn't treat me like some random stranger that he had just met. He treated me like I was a friend that he'd known for a long time. So that to me made me say that, man, wouldn't it be nice one day if we could work together? You know, wouldn't it be great if they would adopt us and we could work with them? I just think God had a plan, and here we are. We have the honor now to work with the one and only amazing Mr. Michael On. So, sir, I would like to give the call to you.
Mr. Robert Griffin, thank you so much for those kind words. And I truly appreciate you, your wife, Miss Chica. You guys are the greatest asset in GPS. And I'm looking forward to the next 10, 20, 30 years together. So thank you for that incredible product training. What a great morning / afternoon this has been. Starting off the presentation with Miss Miranda Alicia. Absolutely crushed it. Our mindset training by Mr. David Nieves, and to go into our comp plan with Mr. Marc Isaac and product with Mr. Robert Griffin. We are just so grateful for all of you joining us right now, and the leadership we have attracted. I can't even tell you how many other leaders that aren't even on the screen right now that are so outstanding and incredible all throughout the US. I want to quickly update you guys on certain things, and then I'm going to go quickly into building a team. And we're going to have a special message from our leader, Mr. Tommy Lee, at the end. But just a little background about myself. I've been involved in this industry now for 15 plus years. It's pretty much the only thing I've done from 20 to now 36. And coming from a humble background, never owning a business, never making more than $8 an hour, I was very fortunate and blessed to see tremendous success in this industry because I met the right coach. I met the right mentor who showed me a system to follow that if anyone is willing to learn it, and if anyone is willing to follow it, eventually you can be successful. And that gentleman to me happens to be our chairman and founder, Mr. Danny Bay. You know, for the last several days, I was so excited. I had a chance to spend time with him here in South Korea. By the way, I'm calling him from Korea. And can you believe, because of the technology, right? And because of the timing in the world of what's going on, we could build our business all online. And just to share with you how exciting our company timing is, just like Mr. Griffin said, we started off pre-launching US just April 27th, which was little over 4 weeks ago. In 48 hours, we're going to be launching United States officially. We pre-launched Japan last Saturday. It's been a little bit over a week now. Well, actually 7 days. The first 5 months of 2020 with coronavirus, with COVID-19, with the pandemic going around the world, our company has got close to 25,000 influencers involved, 3 countries opening up, already millions and millions of dollars in sales. And can you believe that was all just pre-launch? So just know you're blessed. We're all blessed. We could be a business partner with GPS. And just know one thing, by end of this year, some of you that have big goals and dreams that follow the system and work hard can make it become a reality. So here's what I want to do is quickly prepare you guys for our launch event and share with you a few tips on how to build a team. Because you got to know one thing, regardless of who you are in this call, whether you have a lot of time, little time, whether you're confident or not confident, experienced or no experience, can see massive success when you have great people on your team. So when it comes down to building a team, just know every successful organization goes out there and builds a team. You think about professional sports team, every year they recruit. You think about colleges, every year they recruit. You think about United States military, every year they recruit. You think about, corporations, whether it's for big corporations, they're recruiting for new talents every year. Single people, they're recruiting for spouses, right? So just know recruiting is normal. Now that you own a business, you want to go out there and build a great team. And it all starts by understanding the basics of our system. When it comes down to building a team, just know your job when you're new is just to invite. A leader will present, a leader will do the training, and all you do is repeat steps 1, 2, and 3. So what do you do when you're brand new? The first thing you do is make a list of everybody you know. The bigger the list, more money, never, ever prejudge. See, when I first got involved in this industry, I used to think successful people with great backgrounds that already make a lot of money, business owners, people that, are maybe self-employed or climbed the corporate ladder and already earn multiple 6 figures, they're not going to be interested in something like this. They already make good money. And what I found out the longer I've done this business is successful people get it quicker, because successful people are successful for a reason, number one. But most people that do well financially, they believe in diversifying their income and adding another stream. At one point I used to prejudge, young people or people that are broke, they're not going to be interested. They don't even have money to get started. And what I realized was I was broke once upon a time. I didn't have the money to get started, but I found it. Marc Isaac was 19 when he saw this. He didn't have the money, but he found it. So don't prejudge. Our job is to simply invite. A leader's job is to simply present. The prospect, the people taking a look at the business, their job is to simply make a decision and repeat those steps. So when it comes down to making a phone call, the very first thing is you got to have enthusiasm. The last 4 letters says, I am sold myself. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. See, I believe in scripts, but I also don't believe in scripts. What do I mean by that? We could give you the right words to say, the perfect script that works majority of the time for majority of the people, but if you say it with no enthusiasm, people will still not be interested. I would rather have somebody say everything wrong, but genuinely be excited and genuinely believe what they're doing. I would rather have them just be them. So understand, you gotta be urgent and exclusive. 80% of successful inviting is urgency. And why do we gotta be urgent right now more than ever before? Because we have 48 hours. See, we're creating history right now. Every one of you on this call is part of history in the making. We launched a company. Every one of us on this call right now is a founding member because you're involved before we officially launch. So time to be excited, time to be urgent, time to be aggressive is right now. But if you've got no experience in the background, make sure you edify the presenter, meaning never make yourself the issue. Raise the influence of the leaders. Talk about the people you work with. That's much better than talking about yourself and how you know everything. See, even me, being involved in this industry for 15 plus years, I'm still coachable. I still edify the leaders that do the presentation, the people I work with. So make sure you just connect the dots. More importantly, be confident. Don't ever beg anybody to join you. Don't ever beg anybody to take a look at this information, because you're the one who's been blessed, and you can bless other people's. How I like to look at it is kind of like this. Imagine near your home, the nearest bank ATM machine, for a fact, was going to spit out Benjamins nonstop for 15 minutes at 6 p.m. tonight. 100%. The bank will let you bring one duffel bag, and you could take that duffel bag, put all the money in there, tax-free, get away with it and not pay back. But what if you're allowed to bring 2 friends who could also bring a duffel bag each, fill it up with money, don't pay tax, don't pay it back, and they could go get away with it as well. The government said you could have it. The bank said you could have it. Let me ask you a quick question. Would you beg someone, Mr. Robert, please, just at 6 p.m., can you make time, please? Bank of America is spitting out money, and I could just bring 2 friends. Just please, can you come check it out? You would never do that. The moment they resist, the moment they're not interested, your attitude will be next. That's got to be when you're making phone calls. You can only sponsor 2 people, one on the left, one on the right. Why beg? Because they're going to get blessed if you do very, very, very well in the business. So don't ever beg, be confident. But more importantly, keep it simple. Spend 1 minute with 100 people, not 100 minutes with 1 person. You know, today in Korea, we actually had a training event with several hundred people. And I gave an example to the people in the audience that a kid would be so much more successful in our business. Imagine you're in maybe at a movie theater, right? With 500 people. And I know right now it's not a good example because we can't go to the movies with COVID-19. But imagine you tell a little kid their favorite candy, right? One of the person at the theater has it. All you got to do is ask every single person who has your candy, and the ones that don't have it will say no, and the one that has it, if you ask the right person, they'll give it to you. You know what a kid would do? Excuse me, do you have my candy? They say no, move to the next person. Excuse me, do you have my candy? Do you have my candy? Do you have my candy? Until the person that says, here you go, the kid wouldn't get emotional when the first person says, no, I don't got candy. No one has my candy. No, it'll just sort and move fast. That's how you got to be. You make a list. You call everybody by making sure you say less to more and just soar. Because the more you say, the more they judge. The less you say, the less they judge. So remember, when it comes down to inviting, it's all about timing, never about talent. Meaning, this is the greatest timing ever. Why? Because of COVID-19 and coronavirus that took place, it changed the world. Can we agree one thing? There's a lot of businesses that are currently hurting right now. There's a lot of jobs that's been lost right now. And last 90 days, can we all agree, we heard virtual more than ever before. Virtual party. I saw people do virtual wine tasting, virtual education, right? Virtual work from home, right? So this is it. Meaning more people are looking for a way to earn more money. More people are looking for some security. More people are looking to add another stream of income. And we have the solution. So what do? We set up Zoom meetings until we could personally meet in person and do home meetings and events. Until then, we're doing it flat out with Zoom technology. You invite as many people as you can. And here's what you got to understand. 50% of the people that already said, I will look at it, won't look at it. It's like a birthday party. It's like a graduation, right? You notice that even on graduations, on your birthday parties, even on your own weddings, when you invite people, not everybody shows up. Not because they don't want to. Life happens. Life gets in the way. Or some people, you know, they just say yes and they forget. So understand 50% will show up, and the higher higher sign-up ratios with more exposures. Here's what I want you to look at. And I'm just going to flat out tell you how it is. you will get more no's. But I always like to tell people, what if for every 4 no's, you got a yes? Would you have a little different mindset? Instead of getting discouraged when somebody says no, instead of feeling like it's not going to work when somebody says it's not for me, it sounds too good to be true, what if it takes 4 no's to get a yes? Every time you show it to somebody no, you have a different perspective. You heard it in the mindset, right? You make it positive, right? All I need is 3 more no's and I'm going to get a yes. All right, let's get it out of the way. And you look for no's, because if you get 4 no's, you get a yes. If that was the case, how many of you would just invite, and just show it to more people? That is our business. It's called speed and exposure. Speed and exposure. Versus showing it to 5 over 7 days, show it in the next 24 hours. Somebody showing it to 10 people next 7 days, show it in the next 24 hours. I'm telling you right now and sharing with all of you, everybody can do it if you take all emotions out and just play the numbers. So every leader you work with has a different script, right? Some people like to use virtual reality when it comes down to inviting. Some people like to use technology when it comes down to inviting. Some people like to just say, would you like to add another stream of income? There's no right or wrong. My advice to you is do what the leader you work with shares with you. But I'll give you an example that worked for me for a very, very long time, for the last 15 years, that made me a very, 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 I don't want to say it, but a lot of money over the last 15 years. So key is enthusiasm and urgency equals great results. I'll give you a quick example. Let's just say I'm inviting my friend Jimmy. And we first set a date and time. The next presentation is not Monday. That's our launch event. The next presentation that you're going to have is the presentation you decide to set with your leader. It could be today. It could be tomorrow. I have several going on the next 24 hours. So let's just say it's tonight at 7 p.m. I will call my friend Jimmy and be like, hey, Jimmy, what are you doing tonight at 7 o'clock? Listen, I got really lucky, started working with somebody very successful, and they asked me, who do I know? And describe who they are. Bilingual, great attitude. And I thought about you. Listen, Jimmy, are you open to making extra money outside of what you're currently doing? If he says yes, this is perfect. I can't promise you anything, but this gentleman I want you to meet is going to do a Zoom call for 20 minutes to cover all the details. Can you trust me and get on the Zoom? That's it. If he says, what is it? I'll tell my friend Jimmy, just trust me. Get on this Zoom. You'll hear all about it. If he says, what is it again? I'll just say, listen, it deals with virtual reality. It's visual and something you need to see in person to understand. Can you just trust me and get on this Zoom? And you invite. And if this is a script that doesn't work for you and your leader used something else, go ahead. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. The most important part is you talk to more people. The most important part is you set up the meeting. The most important part is you just make the phone calls and make sure you expose it to people. So here's the schedule I want to share with all of you when we start in June. June 1st, we're going to have our launch event. We're going to show you a flyer for it. We're going to have a presentation Monday through Friday, every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and 2 p.m. Hawaii Time. That's going to be the overview we're going to be doing as a company every day outside of the ones your leaders do. But tomorrow, we're going to have our final conference call, okay? And the time is right here. Make sure you get on it. We'll give you all the updates on what's going on. It'll be for 30 minutes. But most importantly, lock in this date right here. This is very important. This is history in the making. It says it right there. The world was brought together by a global pandemic. Now it's time for a global awakening. This Monday, June 1st, and underneath why it says June 2nd is in Asia, it's going to be June 2nd. June 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Hawaii Time. The chairman and co-founder, Mr. Danny Bay, is going to host our very first launch event with all 3 countries that are going to come together and translations going on. There's going to be several thousand people on this. We're going to have announcements. We're going to hear from corporate team. We're going to hear great testimonials. But most importantly, you want to get on this and you want to make sure everybody gets on this. And to close out this event and to talk about how important this is, we have an industry legend on this call who's going to close this event out. This gentleman is one of my dearest friends, but more importantly, he has over 20 years of experience in this industry. His experience is second to none. He's mastered helping so many people see success, already has thousands of business partners in his team in a just short few weeks of time. Please help me welcome my dear friend, top leader in the industry, Mr. Tommy Lee.
Man, Mr. Michael on, thank you so much for having me on the call, and thank you to all of our leaders that were just providing some of the most outstanding training that I've ever seen, not just in GPS, but in the industry. And, you know, my name is Tommy Lee. I want to send a warm aloha to every single one of you guys all over the world. If you're dialing in from Korea and Japan all the way to East Coast and somewhere in Hawaii and a lava rock in the middle of the Pacific, I hope everyone's staying safe right now. And just tell you guys right now, I'm just absolutely overwhelmed. And fortunately and luckily for me, having the kind of decades of experience, I learned to recognize what a game-changing company and concept this is. So my job today is to kind of wrap things up for all of us and give us kind of a short call to action, if you will, on what I need to do right now so us as a leadership core can help you get from where you are to where you want to go. And all of us, you know, I'm part of a leadership core with over 100 people plus, just like me or bigger. And the craziest part is, guys, our leadership team speak bravely and confidently on all of their behalves that we all feel like we've been practicing our whole life and preparing our whole life in a business world for this one opportunity. And, you know, it only comes around once in a great while, and we're very lucky to be a part of this. So it's kind of reminiscent. You guys have ever heard a big creation story like Apple, where you've got two college dropouts, Wozniak and Steve Jobs, who in a garage went out there and created Apple, or Amazon. Jeff Bezos created his company Amazon in a garage. What's crazy is he didn't even own that garage he was renting at that time. In Microsoft, you got Bill Gates and Paul Allen, who went out there and just created a simple operating system. Wasn't perfect. You know, they launched Windows 1.0. And it crashed every computer it went in, but they didn't give up. They launched 2.0 and 3.0 and Windows 7 and Windows XP. And now here we go. Of course, today you guys look at Microsoft as one of the biggest companies in the world. And you just got to realize that pre-launches, grand openings happen just once in a company's history. And this is the kind of timing and positioning that future influencers that are going to join GPS 3 months, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years from now are going to look back and go, what? You were there in the pre-launch? You were there before the game even started? Oh man, I would give anything. I would sacrifice a liver or a kidney or a spleen to have that kind of timing. And that's just the reality. So, you know, we got to realize the kind of timing that we're in. You know, for the last 26 years, no matter what company I was representing, no matter what stage I was speaking on, every single presentation, I started off with my first 30-day success story. And we've got a chance here, guys. You just got to realize if you're brand new in the industry or brand new to this company, that 30-day success story is going to follow you throughout your entire career. So we want it to be a big one, and we want it to be one that's really exciting for you. And we've got a chance to shoot baskets and score points all weekend before the first quarter even starts, okay? So ask yourself, if you've ever wanted to be a part of a winning team, if you ever wanted in your life to be a part of a paradigm-shifting business model that's not just exciting, but absolutely compelling, well, you have it in your lap. You know, my business mentor said, Tommy, there's 2 reasons why people miss out on really big opportunities. It's not that they're stupid. People are not stupid. If they could recognize a good thing, if somebody came up to you and said, here's 50 grand, take the cash or take the brick of gold, of course they would take it. They're not stupid. It's just number one. And when it comes to big opportunities, one, they weren't aware of it. If you don't know about it, you can't act on it. And number 2, maybe they weren't in the position to take advantage of it. You know, if somebody came up to you and said, hey, I'll sell you this $25,000 gold Rolex, and I'll sell it to you $1,000, but you better have cash right here, right now. Well, some people just weren't in position to take advantage of it. Of course, it's a no-brainer. Of course, everyone has 20/20 hindsight vision. After GPS gets big, after it's breaking records, after a year, 3 years, and 5 years from now, people are going to go back and be, man, of course I would have done it. Of course, we would have invested in Apple or Amazon or Microsoft in its infancy stages, but a lot of people didn't. They didn't believe in it. They didn't have the vision. So what I've got to do right now, okay? Here's what you guys got to do in the last minute of the call. Number one, if you're still thinking about it, guys, if you got questions, ask questions. But when you're done, get started. I mean, guys, if it looks like a duck and smells like a duck and tastes like a duck, well, it's not a donkey. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I haven't met hardly anyone. I mean, I've been talking to dozens and dozens and dozens of people all day long, every single day for the last over 30 days. And nobody, not one person didn't tell me, oh, I don't think VR or AR is going to be big. No, they all agree it's going to be the next best thing. The technology doesn't roll backwards. None of us right now are going to turn in our iPhone or our Galaxy for a flip phone or a pager right now. None of you guys are going to trade your latest computer for the Apple IIe or the Commodore 64. And if you don't know what that is, you're lucky because you're young. If you do know what that is, you're a dinosaur. And I hate, you know, we hate the young people. I'm just kidding. But, you know, technology, guys, we were there back in the days when people still use payphones. I was there when pagers first came in, and we saw what we call the evolution or the Internet of Things. And we are perfectly positioned strategically right now where we can take advantage of that. Number two, strategically set up. So once you get started, if we're going to build two teams, two massive empires, who do you want to be the generals and the major people that benefit off of your hard work? Strangers? Even a friend? How about a family member? It absolutely makes sense to sign up a spouse, a sibling, somebody in your household. And if we're going to build it, team up with, you know, your wife or husband, team up with their boyfriend or girlfriend, team up with your brother or sister. And then let's go. I mean, I wouldn't get carried away with it. Some of you guys are like, I got a big family, and we're going to sign up my mom's brother, sisters, cousins, friends, former roommate to the fifth power. Well, guys, don't get carried away, but definitely strategically position yourself. And then let's go to war. Number three is talk to everyone. You want to have speed and you want to have exposure right now. I see so many people that don't have the right mentality right now. And what I mean by that is the sense of urgency. You know, if we've only got from now until Monday when we have the global launch event, build minute to minute, not even hour to hour. That's too long. I can expose somebody in 20 minutes. I can do it 1 at a time, 5 at a time, 10 at a time. But you know what? That means we can do 2 to 3 exposures an hour. I'm not waiting hours and hours for the next live call. In between the live broadcast and live Zoom calls, I'm doing mini presentations and talking to their friends of friends of friends or friends. We are digging deep. So have that sense of urgency. And number three, the last one is take all out massive action. So we're on a social media blitz right now. We're making a big commotion. This is your time to really let your friends know about what you're doing and how excited you are. You know, calls are better than text, but do both. Have safe meetings with social distancing on. I don't do a lot of physical meetings. I have done a few. I met people in a beach park down here in beautiful Hawaii. It's not a bad place to do a meeting. And of course, I used that backdrop and scenery and said, hey, what if we had people around the world here in Hawaii experiencing in virtual reality? But the reality is you could talk to 10 people when we get off this call. Those 10 people could talk to their 10 people later this afternoon or evening. Those 10 people could talk to their 10 people late tonight and tomorrow morning. And there's 10 people could talk to 10 people in the afternoon and evening. And come Monday, you've got hundreds, if not dozens of dozens of dozens of people all inviting with together as a team. And we're all going to be on that global call event on Monday. So I'm jacked up. I'm fired up. I'm losing my mind. I don't even know how to act right now, guys. I've never in 26 years of being in this industry seen anything like this with the results we're getting. People are embracing virtual reality, augmented reality, and GPS with an open mindset. They're not just thinking that this is relevant. They're like, man, this is amazing. And let me in there. And I've got this person. Once they start thinking about how this is going to apply to their career or their business or their sport, hobby, or passion, or even church, then they really get pumped up. And that's what we got here. We're going to be a force multiplier for whatever they got, and we can times it times 10, times 100, times 1,000, times 1,000,000, and the sky's the limit. So you and I, right here on this call, you will remember this for the rest of your life, whether you get started with us or not, whether you take our messages seriously or not, whether you adhere to the advice of these amazing leaders we just heard from. Let me tell you guys this. You will look back upon this call and this time and say, man, I was there at the beginning of an Apple or a Microsoft. I was there at the beginning of an Uber or an Amazon. And I'll tell you guys right now, from me to you, in all of my 26 years, if in Mr. Michael Lon and Mark Isaac, you look at Mr. Robert Griffin, this guy's been in the VR industry for years. And I'm telling you, I have conversations with him. The stuff we're looking at now, as mind-blowing as it is, guys, that's first grade. You know, Miranda, she's been around media and TV shows and producing and directing and all that stuff. She knows it's the next evolution of things, guys. So I'm telling you, just follow success. It leaves clues. And these guys, I've never seen a group of leaders that are more generous with their knowledge and their wisdom and just selfless people. So on behalf of everybody, I want to thank all of you leaders for sharing all of your wisdom with us on the call today. We thank you for your time and attention. I know that this is going to be recorded, guys. Let's make sure we blast out as many invites and exposures as we possibly can until we lose our voice. Kill your cell phone battery, and let's take action like we never ever did before. And I will see every single one of you guys and all of your guests on Monday's Global Leadership Call for GPS. It's going to be amazing. Thank you, Mr. Michael Lon, for having us on the call. Warm aloha, stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple of days. Aloha.